Hello, my name is Kevin Tudor, and I'm one of the three hosts of Almost Major, a film podcast dissecting many major indie studios and the films they release. Every week, myself, Charlie Nash, and Bryden Doyle discuss overlooked, forgotten, or bona fide classic indie films via studio-specific miniseries. We've previously covered numerous films from Artisan Entertainment, Lionsgate Films, and New Line Cinema. Titles including The Blair Witch Project, American Psycho, Dogville, But I'm a Cheerleader, Saw, Requiem for a Dream, and Ringmaster, you know, the Jerry Springer film. Anyways, we have a fun time every week and we hope you will join us. Subscribe to Almost Major wherever you get your podcasts. Now proudly a part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
The audio commentary. It's a dying art form, but here at One Track Mind, I, your wonky yet affable host Ryan Luis Rodriguez, analyze film through the prism of these embryonic forms of podcasting, one audio commentary at a time. Masterpieces, crapster pieces, live action, animation, cult classics, films literally no one has ever heard of. No track is too small and no track is too big. Join me and my guests from the entertainment world as we keep these features alive every other Tuesday. Hey, who else is going to discuss Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey one week and Citizen Kane the next? Us, that's who. Sure, you have to put up with my voice, but there's a certain give and take in this industry. That's One Track Mind, part of the Someone's Favorite Productions family and available wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome to the Kulturecast. I am your host, Chris Stachiw, and I am joined by my podcasting father, the all-father of all podcasts, the host of the Projection Boot, the host of the Projection Boot, Mr. Mike White.
I used to think that my life was a tragedy, but now I realize it's a comedy.
So we're taking a break from Horrortober, a month of the year that I love so dearly because I am such a huge fan of the horror genre. I know you're doing Shocktober over at the Projection Booth to talk about 2019's most controversial film, Joker.
Can you please stop bothering my kid?
Sorry.
Arthur, I have some bad news for you. This is the last time we'll be meeting.
You don't listen, do you? You just ask the same questions every week. How's your job? Are you having any negative thoughts? All I have are negative thoughts.
And finally, in a world where everyone thinks they can do my job, check out this guy.
When I was a little boy and told people I was going to be a comedian, everyone laughed at me. Well, no one's laughing now.
You can say that again, pal.
It's so awful, isn't it?
For my whole life, I didn't know if I even really existed. But I do. And people are starting to notice.
You think this is funny? Is this a joke to you?
Murray, one small thing.
Yeah.
When you bring me out, can you introduce me as Joker? Send in the clowns.
So, Joker is directed by Rupert Pupkin. It is written by Rupert Pupkin and Scott Silver. Oh, excuse me, I meant someone who's equally as unfunny now and as untalented. Todd Phillips, excuse me. Stars Joaquin Phoenix, Robert De Niro, and Zazie Beetz. Sure, it does star Zazie Beetz. And it focuses on Joaquin Phoenix, who plays Arthur Fleck, a mentally troubled man who becomes the Joker.
I believe that's just Joker.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Did I... don't come to my house and shoot me.
Okay, look. Let's just cut straight to this before we give our thoughts on the film. I think I'm not speaking out of turn here, Mike. Every single piece of media coverage about this film has been completely blown out of proportion. It does not deserve nearly as much attention as it has been given by the media. The media firestorm surrounding the glorification of violence in this film. It is a fucking movie. Calm down. And it is not even a good or entertaining movie at that.
It's definitely a movie.
It is a movie. That's all it is. It's not some sort of fucking anti-fascism manifesto or an incel manifesto. It's just not. Because this movie's not that smart, and the people who wrote it aren't that smart. So what did you think of the film, Mike?
I mean, I thought it was okay.
Yeah, it's like if King of Comedy was written by someone who is a fucking idiot. Like, and less entertaining, of course, because King of Comedy is a film directed by Martin Scorsese, a fantastic film. Honestly, one of Scorsese's best films that I guess everybody forgot existed. Kind of like After Hours. But this film is like a dumbass version of that. It takes all the nuance out and replaces it with Joaquin Phoenix dancing in a circle.
Yeah, I mean, I saw Fight Club like 20 years ago.
I saw Fight. Well, that's an interesting comparison.
And I saw Taxi Driver, and I've seen King of Comedy. And it's like I mean, it feels like like a dog throws up and then eats its breakfast. It feels like a dog's breakfast.
I mean, they went as far as to casting Rupert Pupkin De Niro in this film. They cannot pretend like they don't know the films that have inspired this film.
Oh, no, there's no pretending there. I mean, there are so many little nods, big nods. I mean, the whole thing was Zazie Beetz putting the fingers to her head and pretending like she's shooting herself in the head. I mean... Which is then
replicated 3 more times.
Yeah, I mean, that's Travis Bickle at the end of Taxi Driver. So, I mean, they knew what they were doing, and... I mean, you can call it homage, or you can just say they're aping better films. But I mean, the worst thing that a movie can be for me is boring. And this movie was pretty boring through most of it. I mean, the third act,
all of it, right? I mean, the first hour of this movie feels like 3 hours of movie. It was. I cannot stress enough how insanely boring this movie is. Like, it is genuinely a drag, a slog to get through.
Yeah, it's not easy.
You won't see the engineer that slams the Nissan Rogue's door 13,920 times. Or the corrosive chamber that simulates 15 years of life in 5 months. Or the Rogue heat-baked for over 300 combined hours. What you will see is a vehicle that can take punch after punch and keep rolling. Nissan. #1 in new vehicle quality among mainstream brands by J.D. Power. We put it through the worst, so you get its best. For J.D. Power 2025 U.S. Initial Quality Study Award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Awards based on 2025 model year. Newer models may be shown.
Hello, filthy movie lovers. My name is Gentry Austin.
And I'm Casey Scott.
And we're the hosts of The Sin Syndicate, film podcast for something weirdos, anti-criterion bros, and Joseph Sarno aficionados. Join us semi-weekly as we peer into the adults-only theaters and sticky-floored cinemas of the golden age of sexploitation, when the morals were loose, the laws were murky, and the intercourse was all simulated. Find us now on the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Till the third act, which is what I'm assuming you were going to say.
Yeah.
Because the third act is interesting, not creative or original or new in any sense of the imagination. I'm not saying it has to be, but the third act is interesting, but that's also because the third act is when shit finally happens.
Yeah, it's such a strange amalgamation of stuff, and just the way that it tries to be a Batman film while also trying to not be a Batman film. It wants to make statements about mental health and the decline of America in the 1980s and Reaganomics and the ouster of mental health patients and just so many things that it's trying to do, but it doesn't seem to want to spend enough time on anything. I mean, there's this whole thing of like so many African American women that have kind of come in and out of this film. So it's like, okay, well, we can talk about disenfranchised. Nope, we're not going to talk about that. Well, we can talk about, people that have, issues with mental. Nope, we're not going to talk about that either. And it feels like it just touches on these things and then it just splits off into something else. It's almost like this movie has ADHD, but that would almost make it seem like it was moving at a faster pace than it is. This movie really reminds me of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood because it's that same, we're going to create this world. Here it is, Gotham in 1981.
New York City in 1981.
And, okay, yeah, they do a really good job of capturing the feel and all this kind of stuff.
I mean, if you have enough CGI, of course you can.
Right. And, there might be people out there that say, "Oh, I wish I could live in that world. I want to drive around in that world. That's the world I want to be in." I don't know who that person is. Probably the person who bemoans that all of the the good theaters on 42nd Street have closed down. Okay, there's the people that probably saw the marquees and were just like, "Oh, wow, strip search, cool. Oh, Zorro the Gay Blade. Oh, look, Wolfen." But it's not necessarily. It doesn't. It's like nostalgia porn almost.
Well, and that's the thing. It's nostalgia to other movies, not to a time that actually existed. Because again, like you mentioned, while it is supposed to be Gotham, it ultimately is just New York. And yeah, like you said, who the fuck wants to live there? I would much rather live in the LA of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood than the New York of this film. But again, it ultimately all comes back to this idea that you are watching something that you have never seen before, and that is honest to God what it feels like the people who made this movie. Todd, I can't make comedy anymore because of the woke culture, Phillips, and Scott Silver. Like, guys, we get it. This movie is just a thinly veiled love letter to Scorsese. And look, I love Scorsese as much as the next guy. But I would never go as far as to make a movie that is a ripoff of King of Comedy and slap the Joker name on it, because otherwise the movie would never have gotten made. I mean, think about this movie without the DC Joker name. It wouldn't have made $96 million. Nobody would have gone and fucking seen it, because that's what happens to art house indie films. They kind of get sidelined and ignored for big budget films. And while this isn't a big budget film, it has the name of Joker attached to it. Otherwise, I mean, nobody would have gone and seen it. I don't think I'm saying anything that you don't agree with, but that's totally the case, right?
Well, it's got the whole manufactured controversy around it as well.
Oh, beyond, oh my God. It reminds me so much of Ghostbusters 2016. Fake outrage. At what? What? It's just fucking stupid ass goddamn Joker movie that decides it wants to be the Joker in the last 20 minutes of the film. Up until that point, it could have been any character-driven drama that is just tepid and boring.
Yeah, I mean, go back and watch Clean Shaven if you want to see a really good portrayal of somebody with schizophrenia, or there's so many movies where we've seen mentally ill people who are imbalanced. Maybe they turn to violence, maybe they don't. And this whole thing is like watching a boiling pot, watching hot water, and it never really seems to boil until right towards the end. And then even then, so much of it feels like happenstance. Like I was saying this earlier today, the Joker of this movie doesn't seem like the Joker that we've seen in anything else before, insofar as I can't see this guy, I can't see Arthur Fleck becoming any version of the Joker that we've seen anywhere else, because he just doesn't seem smart enough. I mean, the guy can't even spell, and he's not going to be the kingpin of crime. He's going to be basically like a loser, and I can see maybe
he is a loser. Like, he is, in this film, 100% a loser.
I was almost hoping that he would have inspired somebody in this movement that he suddenly creates to take that mantle and become that Joker. Maybe the guy who actually shoots the Waynes in the alleyway, like maybe he becomes the real Joker, and there's Arthur Fleck, maybe dead, maybe just looking on from the sidelines, because I can't see this guy ever being a foe for Batman.
Well, the thing is the way you make this film more quote-unquote palatable and more impactful is you have him get killed by that character who theoretically could become the Joker. But again, that's a film that is more of a comic book movie. And that's not what this movie is trying to be. It's trying to be a serious, grounded film about mental illness. DC, go fuck yourself. I'm so sick and tired of this shit. It's been a decade since The Dark Knight. Again, another film that was, in my mind, a massive failure as a comic book movie because it didn't want to be a comic book movie. It wanted to be anything but. And I know that that's a controversial opinion about The Dark Knight, and everyone and their fucking mother loves that movie and loves Heath Ledger. But that movie didn't want to be a comic book movie, and because of that, it can go fuck itself. You can't change the fact that you're a comic book movie just because you say you're not. It's not how it works. You are a comic book film because the characters in your film are based off of characters within a comic book format, and that's the way it goes. Can you elevate yourself past the genre?
You won't see the engineer that slams the Nissan Rogue's door 13,920 times. Or the corrosive chamber that simulates 15 years of life in 5 months. Or the Rogue heat-baked for over 300 combined hours. What you will see is a vehicle that can take punch after punch and keep rolling. Nissan, #1 in new vehicle quality among mainstream brands by J.D. Power. We put it through the worst, so you get its best. For J.D. Power 2025 U.S. Initial Quality Study Award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Awards based on 2025 model year. Newer models may be shown.
If you're looking for more horror outside of the mainstream, look no further than Unsung Horrors, a podcast about underseen horror movies. I'm Lance.
And I'm Erica. Every other week, we'll cover a horror movie with fewer than 1,000 views on Letterboxd. We'll even give you double feature recommendations to pair with the movies we discuss.
From gothic to shot on video, from slashers to comedies, from giallo to J-horror, we'll cover all the subgenres. So join us as we unearth these hidden gems of horror.
Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, all at Unsung Horrors, available wherever you listen to podcasts. And part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
The chains of said genre? Sure, of course you can. People have been doing it for years. People have been going above and beyond the genre as long as film has existed. But just because you say you're not a comic book movie does not make it not a comic book movie. And this movie is doing exactly what Dark Knight did over 10 years ago. And it's like, I thought we've come farther than this.
Well, I think Dark Knight did it much better.
I think it did it better, but I don't think it did it any differently than this film is doing it. This film is going even farther and just saying, well, there's no Batman this time. Let's just focus on Joker. Like, can you imagine how grating the Dark Knight film would have been if it was just Heath Ledger as the Joker for 2 hours? I'm sure that someone just creamed their pants thinking about that. But for me, I would rather die than watch that movie. Like, honest to God. That sounds off. That sounds as awful as this film ended up being.
So you mean like Suicide Squad?
Yeah, another DC film that came out in the last 3 years that's a piece of shit. I mean, this film for me, and Matt is not joining us this evening, and I know he's kind of my partner in crime when it comes to these DC films. This is the culmination of everything I have hated about the DC films for the last 10 years, and it's just cyclical. They're right back to where they were a decade ago, making this dark, nonsensical bullshit. And I wouldn't be surprised if we get another Superman movie a couple years from now where he murders someone again. I just wouldn't.
You're definitely much more passionate about this film than I am. I am just so...
It pisses me off so much that this is getting attention when it deserves none.
Well, knowing Todd Phillips, I know that probably at least, let's say 60% of this is just media manipulation. I mean, that whole thing of him saying you can't do comedy anymore because of this, woke culture. I mean, that's him playing the media.
He knows what he's doing.
He knows what he's doing, and he's known what he's been doing since the early 90s. I mean...
Because not everybody has read that article that you did a while ago in your book, but can you give the Kulturecast listeners your kind of... just your brief history with Todd Phillips so that they understand that you know exactly... Not I'm saying you don't, but the exact example of you know exactly what you're talking about.
Well, after he did the whole G.G. Allen documentary, I don't know when he became the head of the New York Underground Film Festival, or maybe he helped found it. I'm not exactly sure, but my interaction with him was around the New York Underground Film Festival. And when I had a short in the festival back in, was that 95? And he had this whole thing where he was playing both ends against the middle. And he would tell the media one thing, he would tell one person one thing, tell another person another thing, tell me something else as the filmmaker, never really letting me in on his whole master plan. But he had this whole thing where he pulled my short from the press screening and then basically made up this whole story about how he was pressured to remove it from the press screening, and then that created a buzz, and then that became kind of a low broil, and then eventually boiled over. And then he was just really super sneaky about stuff, and he would do little things to basically, I don't know, just stoke the fires a little bit, to the point where he was even so he's impressed enough with my thing to put in his festival, but then he's talking to USA Today and he's just like, well, if you take any Hitchcock film and cut it together with any other horror film, it's going to look like a Hitchcock film, or like they're ripping off Hitchcock. And I'm just like, well, that's kind of a weird thing to say, especially when you have this movie here. And then I'm hearing weird stories about how his fiancée or his girlfriend is working at Miramax, and how basically it sounded like he was almost parlaying all of this stuff into a deal with Miramax. And I was just like, what the fuck are you doing? So it's like he always had bigger ambitions. And then, next thing I'm hearing about him is when he does a documentary with his partner in crime, Andrew Gerland, for HBO, and it is about to air on HBO, and then they find out that it's a fake. And I'm almost wondering if he let them know that it was a fake somehow, because he's that kind of a guy. And then he uses that as a platform and gains notoriety because he almost faked out HBO. And then the last time I ever heard from Todd was when I sent him the sequel to Who Do You Think You're Fooling, the movie that I had in the 95 festival. I think it was in 97. And he didn't like that I was calling him out for being very duplicitous in Cashiers to Cinemark, the zine that I used to read. And he pretty much told me that I was banned from the New York Underground Film Festival, which, thank goodness, he only ran for another year before he ended up, God, what did he do first? Was it Road Trip or Old School? Okay, Road Trip. And then, and he returned my tape, and on the envelope he wrote, "Attention Enemy." So now I was Todd Phillips' enemy, which was fantastic.
So Todd Phillips sounds like an asshole.
He's very much an asshole, but he, like I said, he's parlayed all of this stuff into this weird,
look where he's
successful career. Yeah, exactly. And so I know he hasn't forgotten these old tricks, so he knows how to manipulate the media. He was great at it. He was absolutely fantastic at just getting press and getting notoriety, and like I said, playing both ends against the middle. So him saying these things, I am so surprised that this got the Golden Lion at Venice, though, and that becomes the springboard for so much of this stuff. And then
I mean, just wait.
Really?
Joaquin is going to get the Oscar for this movie. And I mentioned it on the 300th episode, and I'm reiterating it here. Fuck the Academy Awards. They're a bunch of fucking idiots. They gave Rami Malek the Oscar, and they're going to give Joaquin Phoenix the Oscar because they're #woke.
So do you think that it used to be that you had to play someone with disabilities to win an Oscar? Do you think now you have to play the Joker to win an Oscar?
Right? Because let's not forget, Heath Ledger won it before. Yeah.
Posthumously.
Yeah, posthumously. Because let's be honest, if he had been alive, he wouldn't have won the Oscar.
I don't think so, no.
No, God, no. Robert Downey Jr. would have won it for Tropic Thunder. I mean, Robert Downey Jr. should have won it for Tropic Thunder. Because the role in Tropic Thunder that he did made it so you can't play a real-life person with a mental handicap anymore. Because you'll notice those movies don't really come out anymore.
Well, we still did have... it wasn't a mental handicap.
Stephen Hawking doesn't count.
That's where I was going to go.
Know. But we're talking about Simple Jack in Tropic Thunder, where he plays a character that is, quote-unquote, gone full retard. So it took the piss out of that. Yeah. Which I am appreciative of because, you know, Sean Penn playing a mentally handicapped character is just mildly offensive, and by mildly I mean very offensive. Which brings us back to Mr. Todd Phillips. So look, I have seen numerous articles online saying, well, Todd Phillips has never been funny. The Hangover is offensive. They say Dr. Faggot in that movie. Look, Todd Phillips has made funny movies. The Hangover is a funny movie. We can't sit here and pretend like it's... You know, it might not be your cup of tea comedy-wise, but it was a wildly successful comedic film. And so pretending like it's not funny now 10 years later because he's drummed up this bullshit about incels and all this other not woke culture shit, like you said, he knows what he's doing.
Oh, yeah.
I am a huge fan of old school, and I kind of like Starsky and Hutch. I have no problem admitting it. I know that those are, at least one is an unpopular opinion, but Starsky and Hutch is a stupid movie, but is a fun movie. Joker is a stupid movie. That's it. It's not fun. It's not anything.
I don't hate it, and I don't love it. It's a thing, you know, and I just don't care.
No, there's nothing to care, and the film doesn't care. That's the other thing.
I have to give this film props when it comes to a couple of things, though. One is the look of the film. I think that it looks really good. I think that the soundtrack is phenomenal. I really like the soundtrack for this, and there were many times where I was more paying attention to the music cues than anything. And I'm not just talking about Gary Glitter and...
Oh, because that's really a great music choice.
Right. I mean, was that controversial because Gary Glitter is a pederast? Oh, who cares? Whatever. Maybe.
I mean, it is, sure. I mean, that's the first time I've heard that song in a long time.
Yeah, I haven't been to any, sports events in a while.
They don't play that at sports events anymore.
I'm not surprised.
I can't imagine why.
And the other thing was, I was so happy to see Gary Goldman. I love Gary Goldman, the stand-up comedian. He is so fantastic. I was so happy to see him. And I kind of wish that this whole movie would have been about Gary Goldman instead.
I just don't understand who the movie was made for. Because as far as I can tell, it was made for no one, or it was made for people that... I mean, this movie, there are so many parts of this film that made me cringe. I was cringing through most of this film because it's just... It's not that it's uncomfortable. It's just that it's dumb. It's being stupid for stupid's sake. And what I don't understand is why go through all this effort and trouble to make a Joker movie and then just be dumb? This could have been something exciting, but it ended up being just an hour and a half of Joaquin Phoenix being a great actor and then him being the Joker. Because there's a disconnect. There's a very clear disconnect in this film.
There are some really bad moments in this film. I mean...
Every scene of him dancing is just fucked.
Well, Todd told Joaquin that he really sees the Joker as having music in his soul.
Oh, is that what he said?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
You don't have to tell us that Zazie Beetz wasn't there in all those scenes. You don't have to do the Fight Club flashback. You just have to say when he's there in her apartment and she says, "You're Arthur, the guy that lives down the hall, right?" That's it.
That's more than enough.
We don't need any more than that, because we should have already figured out that she is not there, because there's no way she's staying by him after he does that horrific stand-up act.
Well, and she didn't even come to see him to begin with. None of it.
Right. No, none of it. So I'm just saying that she's not there.
Right.
There, she's not there ever. And definitely, I mean, when he opens up the door and starts making out with her, you know, if you haven't figured it out by that point that she's not there, I mean, just she's not there. I mean, so you don't have to hand that to us. And then there are other moments where it's like, ooh, is he really even outside of the apartment, or is he there? Like, there's a moment, I think it might be after he gets punched in the face by Thomas Wayne in the bathroom, where he's leaning on the sink, and then it match cuts to him in his apartment. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, maybe he's not actually leaving his apartment. Maybe this whole thing takes place in his apartment. I'm not really sure.
So let's confront this head on, because I think that this is something that really bugs me about film, and maybe it doesn't bug you, but it bugs me. This movie could not theoretically have happened at all.
How so?
Like, no, what I'm saying is, like, the whole film could have been in his head. The character of Arthur's head.
I think that end scene with him talking to the other black woman is kind of telling us that, when he's like, oh, I was just thinking of a joke. It's like, okay, was this whole thing a joke to you?
He's been, so the way, and look, I'm curious how the way you read it. The way I read this film is that everything that takes place in this film is in his head. He's been institutionalized the entire film. This is a construct in his own mind to deal with his sad, sad existence in Arkham Hospital.
Are you saying that this movie is Sucker Punch?
I'm saying that this movie, is fucking, what's the name of that TV show where it was all in the snow globe? That's what this feels like.
Oh, St. Elsewhere?
Yeah, it just feels like a big fuck you to the audience, and that's what those kinds of reveals feel like. It's a big fuck you to the audience. Like, what does any of this matter if it was all in his head? Oh, it doesn't? So why? Why fucking care then? And
that's exactly how I feel about The Usual Suspects. I'm just like, wait, all this shit was made up by.
Well, that movie's
what the fuck, man?
That movie's also directed and written by a rapist, child rapist. So I don't know why anyone's talking about Usual Suspects anymore either. But it's.
You won't see the engineer that slams the Nissan Rogue's door 13,920 times, or the corrosive chamber that simulates 15 years of life in 5 months, or the Rogue heat-baked for over 300 combined hours. What you will see is a vehicle that can take punch after punch and keep rolling. Nissan, #1 in new vehicle quality among mainstream brands by J.D. Power. We put it through the worst, so you get its best. For J.D. Power 2025 U.S. Initial Quality Study Award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Awards based on 2025 model year. Newer models may be shown.
Have you ever wanted to dive deeper into the horror movies you love? Beyond the Blood is a horror podcast for fans who want more than just surface-level screams. We do deep dives into the movies that shaped us, digging into director commentaries, behind-the-scenes stories, deleted scenes, and the special features that most people skip. Each episode is a love letter to the genre. We break down how these films were made, the creative risks that paid off or didn't, and the lasting impact they've had on the genre as a whole. From 70s slashers to modern nightmares, we celebrate the craft, chaos, and characters that keep us coming back. If you're the kind of fan who rewatches movies with the commentary on, or you simply grew up in the video store horror aisle, the Beyond the Blood podcast was made for you. New episodes every single week. Subscribe, and let's dig deep. Welcome to the Beyond the Blood podcast.
It is a Bryan Singer movie, right?
Yeah, that movie just it continues to get a free pass for some reason, as does Bryan Singer.
Yeah, well, hopefully not anymore, it would seem. But I don't know, how do you feel about that? Because for me, I hate movies, films, TV, any media that goes, well, by the way, this was all in their head. It's so lazy.
Well, there are certain movies like Total Recall where I'm like, okay, I like this ending because maybe he's still sitting in that chair in the Recall Institute. Maybe he's actually on Mars. I kind of like that. But I can see there are others, like I said, like Usual Suspects, where I'm like, oh, you've just been manipulating me this whole time? Well, fuck you very much.
I like Total Recall because some of that movie does exist. Like, there are parts of that movie that do happen but where it ends and begins is up to interpretation.
Right.
I don't think any of this movie happened. Like,
no, not from that final scene.
No, from the final scene, none of the film happened. I mean, look, the other film that I like that utilizes this kind of unreliable narrator trope is American Psycho. But again, it's a film that is masterfully done, that is well executed, and it's also fucking entertaining.
Yeah.
And it's not self-serious. Like, there is as kind of fucked up as that movie is, because it is fucked up, the book is more fucked up, there is a sense of you still need to be entertained as the audience, not just having a character spinning in circles in a bathroom for 5 minutes. Because that's what a lot of this movie is. And it's like, why? What is being gained here? And so that's what I don't understand. Like, this film could have just been any fucking anything. Like, there's nothing Joker, there's no Joker anything about this movie. Like, maybe Thomas Wayne doesn't even exist in this universe, and that's just another construct in his character's head. Like, who the fuck wants to watch this goddamn movie? Like, if I were someone who was not watching cinema like you and I watch cinema, and I'm not saying you and I are smarter than everyone else, but I'm talking about not just watching the films that come out on Friday at a movie theater and sticking to Christopher Nolan as like the deepest film that I watch. I would probably be like, whoa, it was all in his head. But having seen a lot of films that do this, it just feels so lazy.
The other thing that's lazy to me is, I mean, and again, I saw this in the third Nolan Batman, was playing with the whole 1%, 99%. In this one, we've got a lot of signs that say resist, which is coming right off of the Trump era with all of the idea of resist. And it's just like, it's such a muddled, mixed message of all of this stuff of we are protesting all of these rich people, and then Thomas Wayne kind of being almost a stand-in for Trump and calling people clowns, but rather than the crowds embracing him, they are resisting him. It's just like, okay, where are you coming down on this stuff? It doesn't seem to make any sense what you're trying to do. And it's like, you can read it either way, and to me it's like, well, maybe the film should actually have a voice and say something.
Take a stance one way or the other, because otherwise it's like you're just fence sitting. You're just fence sitting. And fence sitting is lazy and not interesting either.
You talked about a lot of the Joker's dancing. I think that Joaquin Phoenix does so much running in this movie.
Oh, that too, especially in big-ass clown shoes. Look, I think you and I can both agree Joaquin Phoenix is a great actor.
He can be, yes.
Right. When cast in the right role, but that's, I mean, you could say, I mean, I would say he errs on the side of great actor more often than he does not. I'm Still Here is a piece of shit. And he has been...
I'm Still Here, which was the prequel to You Were Never Really Here, is that right?
I have no idea. Is the Joker the prequel to The Master? We may never know. But I understand why he was cast in this movie. I think, again, am I supposed to be impressed that an actor lost 100 pounds to be in a role? Like, I don't understand why anyone cares about that kind of shit anymore. Like, why is that something anyone gives a flying fuck about? Oh my god, Joaquin Phoenix is so skinny. Who gives a shit? Fine.
I saw The Machinist.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, it must be nice that you get paid to lose weight for a living. Like, that must be nice. But he's wasted in this movie. Like, he should be doing something that is worth his time. And I guess he thinks this is worth his time. He's in a lot of the interviews he's done, he's very, he has a lot of nice things to say about Todd Phillips, about the role, how he was drawn to the role, but just a fucking waste. This is like, this film and the script, because the script hasn't come out yet. I would love to read the script for this. Like, it's just beneath his acting abilities, as far as I'm concerned. Same with Robert De Niro. But then again, De Niro has been in all kinds of really bad movies recently, so...
Yeah, I was really hoping for more from De Niro in this role.
With his fake teeth?
Yeah, I wanted something. And then, I don't know, I'm not going to talk about the whole idea of them taping him in 1981. I mean, this is a different universe. In Gotham, they might have portable video cameras in 1981, so I'm not going to go there when it comes to this stuff.
Don't you like how Arthur Fleck is supposed to be dirt poor, yet in 1981, a answering machine is like a couple $100?
Yeah.
It's just weird. Like, you commit to so many things to put us in this universe, and then you just say, nah, fuck it, here's some stupid shit. But, like, you're just doing it because you want to be able to have, like, you know, these cool-looking things. Or a character leaving a message on an answering machine.
Yeah. I mean, as I watched this movie, I just kept thinking of so many other movies I'd rather be watching.
Yeah.
Like I said, this movie, it just kind of bored me. And once he finally puts on the makeup, gets to that third act, I'm just like, okay, he looks cool. And he doesn't seem like he's the same character. You know, he doesn't seem like the Arthur Fleck that we've seen up to this point. And I'm like, okay, this is the guy that I would rather spend time with. And this is the guy I find interesting. And this is the guy who, I don't know, he just seems compelling. So I'm like, okay, good. But
where does Joaquin Phoenix land for you among the Jokers that have been presented on screen? Well, he's better than Jared Leto as far as I'm concerned. But I mean, Jared Leto is like the bottom.
Yeah, Jared Leto really scrapes the bottom of the barrel.
He's not even in the barrel. He's below the barrel. I mean, Suicide Squad is a bona fide piece of garbage. Like, it is one of the worst films that has come out that has gotten mainstream attention and has been, like, there are people that will defend that movie.
There are. I even have friends who really like that movie, and I don't necessarily understand it. But,
no, I don't get it either. But that movie is a piece of shit, and Jared Leto as the Joker was a huge misstep. And huge mistake in casting.
Well, just that whole character. I mean, it just didn't
Hot Topic Joker?
It didn't have to be there. The Joker did not have to even be in that movie.
But now Birds of Prey is coming out, and they're writing his character out of the universe.
Who cares? Is this Birds of Prey the same Birds of Prey that they had a few years ago? Is Barbara Gordon in this? I don't even understand what this movie is. Is it a movie or is it a TV show?
It's a movie, and that character from Birds of Prey, the TV show, is coming back in DC's fantastic TV show universe, where they're doing a Crisis on Infinite Earths, where they're bringing back like a bunch of people. So they're bringing back Brandon Routh, they're bringing back Tom Welling from Smallville, but that's a different story because that's actually good DC stuff, not this. Yeah. And again, like, that's the other thing about this movie is when you look at the things that DC has put out in the last decade since The Dark Knight, it has been utter garbage. Justice League, Wonder Woman, The Dark Knight 3 or whatever that, what is it, Dark Knight Rises, Man of Steel. Like, those movies, Batman vs. Superman, those movies are all terrible.
Yeah.
And they're going to get this revitalization, a shot in the arm, because just like The Dark Knight, this film is... I mean, The Dark Knight was a very much like a media storm around it because Heath Ledger passed away.
Right. So to go back to your question, I mean, I don't have all of the different incarnations of the Joker at my fingertips, but I have to say, yeah, this is probably one step above Leto. I mean, he's definitely below Mark Hamill. He's below Cesar Romero. He's below Jack Nicholson. And below Heath Ledger. And that's probably my order, and the only reason I don't put Mark Hamill higher is because I didn't really watch Batman the Animated Series very much at all.
So your number one is Heath Ledger?
Yeah, I think it is. The Joker I grew up with was Jack Nicholson and Cesar Romero. I mean, Batman, the movie, 1989, was a big deal when it came out. But even then, I was like, okay, he's a little much. But yeah, I liked Heath Ledger because he was just such a force of chaos, and the whole idea of him lying about where he got his scars and that we never necessarily know where he came from. I like not knowing where this force of chaos comes from, as opposed to this kind of dry, dull story of Arthur Fleck becoming a Joker.
Well, and that's the other thing. I mean, you know, talking about The Dark Knight, obviously you remember, but if you've seen The Dark Knight, you know that, like you mentioned, the Joker has that whole, you want to know how I got these scars? The story is not as interesting as the person telling it.
Right.
And this story, like, they should have taken The Dark Knight's advice and never made a Joker origin story, because who fucking cares? It is not interesting. There's no way you can make this story interesting, because you just want to see the Joker and Batman going at it and their machinations. off of one another. I don't give a shit about the Joker doing his own thing, dancing downstairs in New York to Gary Glitter, shooting Wall Street types. I don't care, because it's not inherently interesting. It's just not. Joker and Batman are interesting because of what happens when they clash, not what happens when they're apart.
Yeah, and that stuff is just playing. I mean, him shooting the Wall Street types, I mean, it's taking that Bernard Getz and kind of flipping it on its head. There are so many things in the Joker movie where I'm just like, okay, is that a reference to the Central Park Five? Is that a reference to this? Is that a reference to that? And it's just kind of steeped in New York history. And I'm just like, okay, well, again, you're not necessarily saying anything.
It's just referencing stuff.
Yeah. I mean, like 1981 in New York City, and the whole idea of yuppie scum kind of coming up in the world, and gentrification, and having this huge divide between rich and poor. I mean, that could have been a big thing, you know, and just there's so many missed opportunities. Like him going in, and you've got the classic clown, you've got Charlie Chaplin there, and I'm just like, oh wow, that's cool. They're playing against this stuff, but then nothing really happens. It just feels like this whole movie is just such a squeaker of a fart. There's really nothing there.
And again, at the end, when they essentially pull the wool out from over your eyes and say none of this happened anyways, it ultimately, just like the film where nothing happens, it doesn't matter anyways that nothing happened.
What the hell kind of mixed metaphor was that? Pull the wool out from under your eyes?
That's a pull from over your eyes.
You're talking about pulling the rug out from under you.
Pull the rug out from underneath you. Pull the wool from over your eyes. Yes.
You cannot pull the wool over my eyes and make me sleep in it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm curious because, you know, in the days since the film has come out, the U.S. Army issued a warning saying there might be people shooting up the theaters, and everyone's favorite Detroit director who has he's just not relevant anymore. Michael Moore is now defending the film, and it's an important film. Go and watch it. It's so fucking... This film is wallowing in its own bullshit. It is like Ghostbusters 2016 all over again. Everything about the film and the controversy surrounding it is almost more interesting than the film itself. Because people all getting bent out of shape that this is some sort of white male rage fantasy. It's none of those things. It's just not.
It's just so fucking boring. It doesn't deserve any of the controversy. I mean, you can look at like the Aurora stuff and it's like, oh, he had red hair and he was shooting up a Batman movie. Well, he wasn't really inspired by the Joker.
And when was the Joker's hair ever red except for maybe Batman 2099 where he's like a fucking Joker with dreadlocks?
Yeah.
It's just so lazy. And it's
yeah.
Like Ghostbusters 2016, a film that was a piece of shit. I don't care what our dear friend Matt says. It's a piece of...
You won't see the engineer that slams the Nissan Rogue's door 13,920 times. Or the corrosive chamber that simulates 15 years of life in 5 months. Or the Rogue heat-baked for over 300 combined hours. What you will see is a vehicle that can take punch after punch and keep rolling. Nissan, #1 in new vehicle quality among mainstream brands by J.D. Power. We put it through the worst, so you get its best. For J.D. Power 2025 U.S. Initial Quality Study Award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. Awards based on 2025 model year. Newer models may be shown.
Shit, and it got so much media attention because all the man babies were coming out and crying about how women were in their Ghostbusters. That was never the issue with the movie. It was an unfunny film that was a failure of a comedy on just the basis, like the base level. It was a failure of a film. But it was a rallying cry for feminists everywhere. I'm taking my daughter to go see Ghostbusters 2016. It's like, who gives a shit? If that's the hill you want to die on, be my guest. But you don't seem to realize that this is a manufactured media firestorm meant to drive you to make the film an issue. And that's what this is. This is an issue film. This is incels and white rage. It's none of those things. It's a stupid fucking Joker movie that is poorly written by two ding-dongs, one of which has written comedy films, and the other one has written middle-of-the-road drama films. But it's written by two ding-dongs who, one of them clearly knew what he was doing and got the exact attention that he wanted, and the media played right into his hands, because that's what he knew how to do.
Well, don't tell me that the Ghostbusters 2016 stuff was anything but manufactured when the villain of the movie is basically the kind of person that they were making fun of when it came to downvoting the trailer and just the incel rage and stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if half of that, if not more, was manufactured by Sony.
Well, and again, if the film had been great... then it wouldn't have mattered. None of the controversy would have mattered. If the film had been amazing, then all the man babies, in quotations, would have had no leg to stand on. Because it would have been like, why don't you like the movie? It's actually a funny, well-written film. But the issue is Ghostbusters 2016 was a poorly written, non-funny piece of shit. And so the people who were complaining should somewhat feel vindicated. Because if you were just complaining that it didn't look funny, and not because it was women, but because it genuinely looked like a cash grab to make money off of the Ghostbusters name, then you should feel vindicated. And that's the issue with this movie and manufactured media firestorms. Is this movie had a manufactured firestorm around it of incels are going to come out and, this is an incel manifesto. Like, it's not.
No.
They don't even because he has a fake girlfriend in the movie in his head, that's why he's an incel?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen better.
Everyone has. I mean, that's the thing. Like, if I was an incel, I'm not. I would feel offended that people are connecting me to this movie. Like, there are other movies out there with characters that are, like, self-loathing, women, female-hating type characters.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a long time since I've seen Naked, Mike Lee's Naked, but I would think that guy, the David Thewlis character, would be more of a hero.
Yeah, like, the Joker is not your incel hero. He's not anything.
No.
This guy can't tie his own fucking shoes, let alone spell the word sense. Like, is this your hero? This is who you want to be your hero? A guy who is, like, a complete nothing? And, like, I get that that's what the point of the film is, but okay?
Yeah, I mean, this movie isn't dangerous.
Oh, God, no.
It's not controversial or shouldn't be. It's just, it is. It's there. And that's about it.
Yeah. Like, the controversy of, the way the film ends, it could incite real violence. If someone is stupid enough to watch a movie and go and enact real violence because of it, then there are any kinds of movies you go and see. That could be the case.
Oh, yeah.
And look, I don't agree with Todd Phillips on anything that he said, but again, he's playing the game here. But he did say the whole thing about, people go and see John Wick and no one's getting pissed about that. And he's right. John Wick kills fucking hundreds of people in the third movie. In the series alone, I would be curious to know how many people John Wick killed. And Joaquin kills like 4 people in this movie? 2, 3, 4 people?
Let's see.
The dudes on the subway and Robert De Niro. And I guess his mom.
His buddy from the clown shop, right. The guy from Barry.
Yeah, Glenn Fleshler.
Yeah. Yep, Randy.
Or I just always know him as the villain from the first season of True Detective.
Oh, he was in True Detective?
Yeah, he's the first. He is the guy, the lawn mowing guy from the first season of the show.
Wow, I kind of blocked that whole show out of my mind. Oh, I just think about time being a flat circle.
Oh yeah, drinking Lone Star beer.
Yeah.
I just, like Ghostbusters 2016, this movie is going to get forgotten in like 6 months.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that.
There are much more dangerous films that are out there. I mean, take a look at anything that Kevin Sorbo's done over the last 10 years. Take a look at any of the Dinesh D'Souza films. I mean, there are rallying cries for hatred out there that should
racial hatred.
Exactly.
And yet we're worried about a stupid fucking movie with a guy in face paint dancing around. Really?
Yeah.
Again, what it feels like is, look this direction while bad shit's going on. But look over here because this is a bad thing. Like, no, it's not. It's just not. So who gives a shit? Like, fuck this movie. Who cares? There's nothing that anyone should be getting mad about with this movie. I've seen all these articles like, white rage. And it's like, this is clickbait in and of itself. You're just riding the coattails of the media firestorm. Like, that's all that is.
Yeah.
I can't imagine anyone watching this movie and actually being upset. Like, and I know that maybe it's because I'm a white man. we're white men and we just can't sympathize or empathize. But no, it's because there's no reason to get mad at this movie, because this movie's stupid and there's nothing to say about anything. So don't get mad about it. Go find something else to be mad about. Like you said, those Dinesh D'Souza movies where it essentially says that Obama's a colonialist and that he needs to go to hell. Those movies are way bigger of a problem.
Yeah.
Than this fucking shit.
Basically looking at, he's interviewing white supremacists in order to paint himself in a better light. I'm like, what? What are you doing? You've got Richard Spencer in here to be like, well, I'm not as bad as this guy, but...
Yeah, go interview Milo Yiannopoulos, because that guy has some dangerous ideas. Richard Spencer has some dangerous ideas. A fictional character based off of a clown in a comic book who fights a guy in a bat suit, not dangerous. Frankly comical, and not in a in a like taking the piss out of you kind of way. What would you give the film out of 5?
Maybe like a 2 out of 5.
Yeah, I'm giving it a 1.
Yeah, like I said, I like the score. I'll probably download the score.
I like the visuals, and that's about it. I mean, again, people going, Joaquin Phoenix is great. Yeah, I know. Duh. Have you seen Her? That movie's great.
This is a movie I never really need to revisit, because it's just like, okay.
I'd be more apt to watch Taxi Driver or King of Comedy, and I really am not that big of a fan of Taxi Driver. I think that movie is good, but I like King of Comedy more. There are other Scorsese films I'd rather watch.
Well, Taxi Driver is so good that I wanted to shoot the president because of it.
Right. See? Actually dangerous movies. Still, again, Taxi Driver, not a dangerous movie. People are just disturbed.
Exactly. Yeah, anybody who's inspired by a movie to go out and do something bad, it's not the movie that's doing it.
No, they were already disturbed from the get-go.
Could be a book, could be a piece of music, or it could just be because they're off their meds. Who knows?
Or it could be because their neighbor's dog told them to do it.
Exactly.
Which, again, was also someone playing the media. But there you go. So let's take a break and we'll play a preview for the next Kulturecast.
I got this feeling. It's a weird feeling. The cabin starts to shake, right? And the left side blows up, and then the whole plane just explodes. The plane's gonna explode! It's not a joke! It's not a joke!
We get thrown off the plane all because Brownie has a bad dream?
I saw it.
The plane! It's gonna blow up! It's gonna blow up!
All 287 passengers are feared dead.
Because of you, I'm still alive.
In death, there are no accidents. No coincidences. And no escapes.
Did it happen again? Did you see Todd die?
What if it was our time? What if we were not meant to get off that plane? What if there is a design, then it's not finished?
By walking off the plane, you're cheating death. You have to figure out when it's coming back at you.
What are you, God now?
He knows which one of us is next.
You have a responsibility to tell me.
I knew I should have hit on Tammy in the pool that time.
I'm not gonna let it happen, okay?
Nobody has control over life and death. Unless they are taking lives and causing death. Now, can you promise me that no one else is going to die?
Get out!
I'll see you soon.
That's right. On the next Kulturecast, we are going to be getting right back into horror movies and ignoring this bullshit that's come out in October to talk about a film that is a lot of fun. It's pretty dumb, but it is fun. We're going to be talking about Final Destination, which is a really fun, dumb episode of The X-Files turned into a feature-length film. It's the truth. It was an X-Files episode.
Death by Rube Goldberg machine.
Exactly. And it's got Tony Todd. And Tony Todd, if you read my Candyman review, is a just a force of nature when it comes to acting.
Hell yes.
But until then, what are you up to right now at the projection booth, Mike?
Well, it is Shocktober, as you mentioned, which is the very cheesy name for October here, where we are covering a lot of horror films such as Wolfen and Fade to Black. So I was very excited when I did see the Wolfen poster in Joker. I was like, ooh, cool. I'm like probably one of 5 people that just got excited to see Wolfen poster.
I got excited for Zorro, the Gay Blade.
Oh, which I used to watch on HBO all the time. And that was kind of a nice little nod there to them going to see Zorro before, or Mask of Zorro and stuff.
Well, I was going to say, it's a Peter Medak film, and he did The Changeling, so...
And I think that there might have been a poster for Excalibur, which then goes back to the Zack Snyder thing. So there are little references in that section, which I thought were maybe the most clever thing in the entire movie of Joker.
If we're giving it credit for anything, sure.
You can find me over at projectionboothpodcast.com, and you can find me every month on the Kolchak tapes, where we are slowly winding down with the entire podcast of the Kolchak tapes. It's making me sad.
It's been a journey together, but it does have to come to an end. But then it's starting right back up with something else. So
exactly,
we're never not doing something for very long.
Idle hands are the devil's playthings.
That's true. And as for myself, you can follow me on Twitter at CasualtyChris, Kultureshock.com, or excuse me, at Kulturecast on Twitter is where you can find the Twitter feed for the podcast. Kulturecast.com is where you can find all of the other episodes of the Kulturecast. You can find links over to iTunes and to Patreon. If those are things that excite you, please go and take advantage of those things. Big thanks as always to _91 for the music, which is Thunderous, which is the intro-outro music for the Kulturecast. And for Mike for joining me on this journey into unnecessary films.
Thanks for having me, Chris.
Yeah, I know. I'm glad that I gave you a platform to tell the Todd Phillips story, which you probably never told before. That's sarcasm.
I don't think that I have.
You've never told it on a podcast before?
Not on a podcast, no.
And make sure to catch us on the next episode.
Hello and welcome to Tumbleweeds and TV Cowboys. My name is Hunter. In this podcast, I'll be joined by a different guest each week to discuss a classic Western movie or TV show. I've been a fan of classic Westerns for as long as I can remember, and in recent years, they've become very nostalgic for me. I love the aesthetic, the tropes, and I love seeing different filmmakers' takes on them. At their best, they're incredibly entertaining, rewatchable, and some of my all-time favorite movies are Westerns. We'll mostly focus on Western movies made in Hollywood, but we'll also be covering spaghetti Westerns, and one thing I'm very excited to get into are Western TV shows. I've got some amazing guests coming on the show, film professors, historians, and podcasters. And Tumbleweeds and TV Cowboys is part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network, and many guests on the show will be from other shows on the network. Thanks for listening.